crash simulator.
Okay.
Yeah, so you put it in the car, you put it in the number of miles an hour it's going, and the drag, and like the wind shear, and you enter all of this information, and then it shows you an animation of the car hitting the person on the bike, and tries to give you an idea of what would really happen in that situation. And it's really weird, but kind of funny and cool at the
Okay.
same
Yeah.
time. What kind of car was you driving? A Prius. What kind of bike was he driving? Harley Davidson. The Prius was destroyed. That's so funny. What a good name. It's very apropos for these days. Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
The man be twitching.
Yeah, but these are.
You be twitching. You be twitching. There we go. That's gonna work at all. Oh yeah, well, that's a great shot right there. I'm gonna call this one Bill.
Okay.
You never know what the hell I'm doing with my computer. Unless it starts asking me for permissions. Nah, just trying to get to record the full screen now, but
Okay.
I'm using the microphone now with the speakers from the actual laptop.
Okay.
And the laptop speakers are actually pretty damn good.
Okay.
You know, once I started using the equalizer. Um, it's amazing. This is a gaming, it's a gaming laptop.
Okay.
But I've had it for 6 years. So it's near the end of its rope. But I threw some more RAM on it, got a new video card for it, and she's purring like a kitten now.
Okay. Cool.
16 gigabytes of RAM, and what do we got here? A 2 gigabyte GeForce.
Okay. Yeah.
She's pretty. Definitely pretty. Oh, I also had a SSD thrown on her. 2 terabytes.
Oh, nice. I actually just
Yeah.
upgraded on my PC. Basically I got bored and impulse bought it like because another hard upgraded my backup not the second drive
Yeah.
on my computer to 2 terabytes because I was running out of room on it, starting to run out of room with all the gaming uh, and just random stuff I had on there, old movies and whatnot.
Sure, sure.
So it was just like, and then I was going to use that 1 terabyte drive to put in whatever computer I got next, and just shift it over to it.
Yeah, right. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, if I put this on here, can you see what I'm sharing with you now?
Yes.
In fact, I can even see that you can see that.
I can see it. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
because I've got the Twitch stream is going now for whatever because I'm still the only issue I have on my end is my webcam does not display for whatever reason, even though actually I think I know why since it's I'm streaming with you. That's why I got. Hang on, just a second.
No worries.
But I do have a plan B.
I'll just play a little Southern Martin. I don't want to get sued by Catfish or Maxi Ivory, but they gotta play.
It's okay, yeah, because we're singing when I save it, it'll automatically detect that it's, you know, if it does detect that it's copyrighted music, it'll just automatically it'll mute that part of the track or the recording.
Yeah. And you know what? I keep pushing it. You know why? Because I keep getting ones that I filtered a few times.
Yeah.
Or like the Van Halen one, for instance, where it's just Dave talking for about 10 minutes before they start playing a song. Those go through.
Okay.
On our particular page. I won't name at this time. So the Van Halen one went up. What shall I say? The Vapors for some reason got on there. uploaded a lot of like straight up videos
Mm-hmm.
to the page that just immediately I get told almost immediately, dude, you're uploading music by Tina Turner. Knock it off.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Okay, no problem. And then the other one, the Van Halen one, yeah, it's just some dude talking for about 10 minutes. Yeah, alright, yeah. I've been leaving you off. I'm getting laid every night. You're not.
Oh, the good old days of music.
Oh, that just makes my life seem all the more worse. Dave was getting laid more than me. Look at that guy,
Uh-huh.
to the coop. Who didn't want to be Dave Roth though back in the day?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
God, it was a shit. That whole band,
Uh-huh.
everything, everybody but what's his name, Anthony, was kind of involved in one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
There are some chicks that dig the drummer.
Yeah.
Now, can you hear the music that is playing through my speakers right now?
It's sort of, I can hear. It's very low volume.
Okay.
I can hear.
And it's
I
not
can
like
tell that. I can tell it's there, but I couldn't necessarily identify what it would be.
all right. Does it sound to you more like microphone sound or like system sound? Or isolated?
It's just like microphone.
Okay.
It's just sort of
That's
like,
what I thought.
yeah. It's just sort of like I can hear it, and I can sort of distinguish that it's music in the background.
Right.
But
Because I have.
I couldn't necessarily, yeah. And I could almost, I keep, to some extent, I could, I wouldn't necessarily think a computer would be able to identify, but I could sort of, if I listen to it long enough, it does have,
Sure. Yeah.
tell what it is.
Well, the thing is, that, like, if I have this record master where I could record everything we're doing right now,
Mm-hmm.
and then with that, I can separate all those audio tracks, so it would only pick up like the actual stereo version of the song
Mm-hmm.
that would be able to play, over a recording, but I can't get it to do it live.
Gotcha.
My computer just doesn't have the power to do that, to run a nice stereo mix and an HD video at the same time. It's just not
Mm-hmm.
going to do it. Are you kidding? I know Ace's Republic of Gamer PC, but give me a break. I can even, probably screen record for those are hilarious, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I can separate 4 tracks here on this one. The system. And you won't know the difference because I'm just recording it. What was it? NVIDIA? No, it's not regular Realtek. That's weird. Oh, there.
Yeah, right now from you, I just got like black screen.
You got what?
Just black
Trading?
screen, no video right now.
Oh, for me?
Yeah.
Okay, I know what I did.
It might just be from the video or whatever's playing.
No, I think I know what it is. I turned on a webcam for a second,
Okay.
and I think it started to pull off of it, and made it not know what the hell it was doing. What? I'm working for 2 programs?
Mm.
You can't make me do that. Am I back on? I should be.
No.
Oh, okay. I'll put it on. Worst case scenario, always restart Explorer.
Yeah.
Freaking Adobe, man. I swear to God, their programs are spyware. I own Acrobat DC,
Mm-hmm.
best purchase I've ever made. But Microsoft Cloud or whatever it is, not Microsoft Cloud, the Adobe Cloud,
Mm-hmm.
Creative Cloud,
Yeah.
Adobe Creative, is the most bloatware PC software I've ever used in my life.
Mm.
Horrifying. it's horrifyingly too big to be what it should be, what it is. You know, it's like you want a standalone version of, let's say, Photoshop. You're downloading at least a gig, but you're still pulling off resources from the web. It's like, give me a break, man. It's using all of your power from your computer at one time. At least it's the ultimate way. But yeah, Acrobat's great. Making forms, I found it great for making lesson plans. Because I just turned it into teacher, class, you know, I have a drop down, and I just turned it into a PDF of the lesson plan. I printed it out, everything else, and I did it. It's wonderful. You know, where you bring a class, I could choose off of a list. You know, stuff that's vague but not too vague. You know, audio visual, 20 minutes. Paper and pencil based quiz, 10 minutes. You know, that sort of thing. Good stuff. Yeah, you look like you're also trying to command a ship to land or something. What's going on there?
Yeah.
You're dusting a crop field or something. Hey, leave Terry Grant alone, mister.
Yeah.
What is that thing? Stop sharing. Oh. Alright. I got it back on.
Oh, okay, cool deal. Sweet.
Yes. Yes. So are we in a room or on a Facebook call? Messenger call?
Yeah, I'm showing. Yeah, Messenger.
Okay. So I think that's how I called you. Yeah, I didn't do the room thing. The room thing's weird, man. Like I could be having a conversation, and other people from Facebook can watch. It's just a little creepy.
Yeah.
For Facebook.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't like doing it at some other forum, but doing it on Facebook, there's just some sort of creepiness level to it that I can't really separate from the difference of it doing it on Twitch or whatever. But yeah, it's fine. Alright, give me 10 seconds, I'm gonna grab something to drink.
Okay.
Hey, there's a bunch of stuff. I'll tell you when I get back.
Okay.
So, I have two choices here.
Okay.
You can actually right about here, alright? We have two beers. We have ABC, which is a very strong stout, really angry beer. It's like, you know, one of those 6 point whatever beers that just get you drunk.
Good deal.
And it has a stout to it. Or you have this standby. Not Anchor, but there is an Anchor beer too. It's obviously named after the wonder of the world. But, and, what? When's the last time you saw this?
Ah! How about that?
I just want you to get beer, dude.
Don't get any old schooler than that.
I just want two cans of beer out there. For $10,000, I want two cans of beer. Yeah, in the equivalent of what's, you know, like a, you know, little pit stop place where we go to either get gas or snacks. You know, beers are full of singles, like they are in many places in the South, I believe, right? Yeah, so they're very rare in Wisconsin. So buy a six pack or don't buy any. We'll just I can see the look on your face that you can't hear me.
I mean, it was a little, yeah. Oh, oh, much better.
How you feeling now?
I can hear you
See,
now. Yeah.
I started a system, that motherfucker. I think that I was going over system there for a second.
Yeah, I can hear you. Basically, another the issue is I had you on my TV still and not on the actual headphones. So for the last like 10 minutes previously, I was just wearing the
Well, that's how I'm
headphones
doing it.
like an idiot for no reason at all.
That's what I'm doing. I'm listening to you through the speakers on the laptop. But that's just like I said, it's because the equalizer's better on it.
Mm.
These headphones are actually really good for conversation, though.
Okay.
Not so good for tunes,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, they work. They're nice. It's good for teaching.
Okay.
Did
Cool.
you
Cool.
did you even try the teaching online thing? You had
I
experience, so you could have
I was sort
gone
of
into
I looked into it a little bit,
yeah.
and then it just sort of uh,
Faded on you.
faded a bit,
It,
mainly because it was just uh, sort of the lack, and just mainly it was just sort of apprehension about what various, because there were numerous um, companies to select to do the online teaching, and it was just
yeah,
that wanting to just find a decent, have to find a decent one and not get committed into something to where just the validity, just wanted to verify how good they were beforehand.
and there are a bunch of them that ended up being real assholes. Like they're based out of China. If you can't hear me, I apologize. I'm just getting this white clad.
Okay.
A couple of based out of China and the U.S. that are both very accused of it. Is if the internet line is disconnected for any reason, you have to pay a fine.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's like this really ridiculous thing in the contract. So, and it's usually China's fault. China's got terrible internet.
Mm-hmm.
They do. It's not great. Um, now living in Shenzhen, I'm lucky. Shenzhen is their Sunnyland,
Mm.
but nicer in many ways. Sunnyvale's okay, I guess, if you want an Atari 800, which I'm sure you did. No, you look like more of a Commodore 64 bull.
I uh, I did have both actually at one point or another, but just fond memories of mostly like the Atari and uh, Yar's. Like my jam was Yar's Revenge on the.
That was a good game.
I love that game, but that and trying to think of all.
I'm teasing you.
Yeah, Pitfall and
Oh, Pitfall was good, yeah.
yeah.
I like Pitfall. No, Commodore was the one where you could pick up people with a helicopter. Remember that one? You could fly
Yeah, the
them.
red. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think it was called Rescue.
Yeah.
And you
Oh,
just get,
yeah.
on the pixelated helicopter, then you
Mm-hmm.
drop down, all climb up in the helicopter, and go back up again, and you fly.
Yeah.
Uh, it was a fun game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my favorite game I ever played on the Commodore 64, Zork the Great Underground Adventures was what kept me
Yeah,
up at
I
night.
remember that one.
It just overwhelmed me when I was introduced to it. My neighbor had it. I don't think I had a PC yet. I was close to getting an Atari 800 XL
Mm-hmm.
as my first one. Um, so I was like just overjoyed. Like I'm reading and I'm getting to choose what to do with the story, and I can use it. This is pretty good for verbose language back then. All the window or what east, turn left,
Mm-hmm.
window was key. You know, it was. I was enthralled. Did you ever play any of those?
Which ones again?
The Infocom games, all the text
Oh
adventures.
yeah, yeah, I do remember those. Yeah, I did play some of them.
What I got through a number of them. I didn't play all of them, but one I never got through completely was the book, the space book. What is it? Everybody.
Oh, was it an Guide to the Galaxy?
Yes, 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 yes. I don't remember, but it's a spoof. It's a goof. It's a
It's yeah, that's yeah.
Am I still talking through this?
Okay.
I
Did you?
am, aren't I?
Yeah. Like I
Yeah.
also liked war game, like sort of historic war games. There was a company back then. Uh, the acronym was SSI. It was like Strategic Simulations,
Oh,
something.
right, initiative. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I remember.
and they had
Yeah.
games that was like conflict in Vietnam. It was like they had a world. They had a couple of World War II games. One set in Europe, one in the Pacific,
Nice.
and I think they had like
I
a
have
Civil War one too.
so, role playing and also strategic games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, those are the best.
Hmm.
I liked back in the mid '90s, right around the mid '90s, were all the Jane's games, like Jane's Fleet Command and
Oh
stuff that
yeah.
you straight out of the book, and it was just very just mathematical. Like it was
Hmm.
just it was amazing, but it was fun when you get a hit because you're like, oh, all right, I took
Hmm.
the wind shear into consideration or whatever. But and having all these different options, I would you could design your own battles
Hmm.
where no matter what you're gonna win
Hmm.
because you have 8,000 battleships and they have like one little something
Yeah.
that's straight off coast, so nothing that can even go back to land to. It's just
Hmm.
there flying around like a bug. Oh my goodness.
Hmm.
So are we twitching yet?
Yeah, we
I
are
don't feel
actually.
anything.
Yeah, you don't
I
feel
don't
it?
feel
Yeah.
it.
You don't
I don't
feel it
feel any
yet.
twitching.
Yeah. You're definitely cooler. You're now part. You're now part of a ongoing Twitch stream here for the last 22 minutes.
I'm happy to be with Twitch right now.
Hmm.
I've never been with Twitch. I've gone to their site once or twice. I saw some dorks like us talking to each other, and then I went to another site.
Hmm.
You know,
And to keep, you know,
but I like it for content.
yeah.
It seems like a great place for getting people to share content and find those gems where you can.
Yeah, I like because I've like I said I've recently gotten into because usually at first years
Recently
ago.
got into Jesus?
Yeah,
Recently?
yeah.
Sorry.
I like
Sorry, Alabama.
for years I was like, who would watch other people play games? That idea just seemed so
My
really
nephew.
yeah. And then I actually started doing it, and I was like, this is sort of relaxing, you know, just
Yeah,
weirdly
I can see
therapeutic
where
and yeah.
I can see the appeal. It's never appealed to me, but I can see why. You know what I mean?
And then there's also so much like and it doesn't have to actually be gaming content either because there's people
Oh,
who
right. It's like
do
watching golf.
yeah.
It's like watching because golf is so boring
Uh-huh.
that I'd rather watch somebody else play it. That way,
Yeah.
I don't have to walk to the next hole.
Exactly.
And
And then like my new thing is like I'm basically there are tons of musicians on Twitch who do just perform and just
oh, right
uh,
on.
and um, another thing I do for helping sleep. There's a have you heard of ASMR? I think we may have talked about this previously. It's
ASMR?
yeah. It's
I don't think you brought it up before.
it's auto sense. Basically, what it is, it's basically people using whispers and sounds to basically facilitate uh, the like just sort of tingles, tingles.
Like a secret language?
No, because
Oh,
they're multi.
like what I was describing
Basically,
before.
like just sort of the natural, like little uh, tingles on yeah, just but in a in a
Yeah,
positive
the hair
way.
stand up on the back of your
Yeah,
neck.
like that sort of like the feeling when you're going to get your hair cut and the woman just sort of touches the back of the head. That just perfect little way where it just like okay, it just sort of gets that
Or
little
that,
motion. You know.
or that split second by the time that you reach the toilet and you just hit it just perfectly before you had wet
Yeah, exactly.
yourself.
I had and I was
You're
about to go
in
into
the
details
elevator.
on something, but yeah, just on that today.
You
But
have no car.
it's just like it's unnecessary.
I'm
Uh,
on an elevator. I have no choice
yeah.
of what speed I'm going. Oh god, that's the worst.
I'm reaching the point now where it's like with my eating habits, it's like, and you go to a gas station bathroom and someone destroyed it, and you're like, oh gross. But now I've reached the point where like I can now understand how that may have happened.
Yeah, yeah,
Because you're
absolutely.
like it's just that situation where they missed it by like 2 seconds and just like they got, and the fact that it was probably a gas station bathroom where they had to hover anyway,
Right,
and then
right.
it was just like,
Gas station bathroom where you get a gas
that
station
perfect
sandwich.
storm of where they just happened to have too many jalapenos on that pizza the night before, and the only bathroom they could find was that effed up truck stop, gas station bathroom, and you're hovering and boom. And then, well, you're like, you
Yeah,
feel bad it
exactly.
happened, but you had to, you weren't gonna
Yeah, man.
sit down on it.
So, are you guys still in a icy haze right now, or are you back above 30 degrees?
Actually, yeah, because it's right now. I want to say it's 40 something degrees today,
Oh, Jesus. It's nice.
and I actually have sort of the door open on the by the balcony because I let the cat out a couple hours ago so she could go in and out, and I just
There you
never
go.
went around to closing the door yet.
Well, as long as you don't have the heat on, you're
Well,
fine.
actually, I sort of still do, but it's only run a couple. I've been too lazy
You're,
to turn it off,
yeah, you're in Alabama.
but it like
You have
just it only runs for like when it does come on, it comes on for maybe like 5 minutes at the most, and then it shuts itself back off.
sure, sure. Yeah, but heat is very insulating, but it's also very expensive. So,
Yeah, yeah. My bill's just like one bedroom apartment. Like my so far, my highest bill's been like 170, and I think
and
it's
that's like for all utilities
no, that's just the power, but
for just the wow,
electricity. But I
wow.
do also have to pay.
I don't miss
But I
that.
don't have to pay water though here though.
Oh, okay. I pay like $40 a month for water.
Mm.
I pay, but I also just pay $40 for I pay $100 a month for everything,
Okay. Yeah, because
basically.
I have to pay like my internet bill here is like 65.
Oh God, internet. You know how internet in Asia is. It's so
Yeah.
cheap.
Yeah.
It's just ride that Wi-Fi and you have a almost have a 5G signal.
Mm.
It's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Although I'm very old school and I have a 30-meter Ethernet cable connecting my apartment
Yeah.
laptop
Yeah.
and the router
Yeah.
because I don't trust those damn routers.
Yeah.
The thing has gone out. The thing's like 4 years old. It should have been replaced 2 years ago.
Mhm.
Because it's a piece of crap. Routers need to be replaced. They
Yeah.
do. They get worn out. Like any really bad tool does.
Yeah.
You know, um, especially those. They're just made to be mass produced and cheap.
Yeah, like
And
that's what we pretty much do when troubleshoot. Like at this point, whenever there's something we can't figure out what the issue is, it's like, I think we need to replace your router, sir. And it's just,
yeah, yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like, we'll order you a new router. Will there be any charge?
Well,
Nope. I'll just say it was a damage issue or technical issue. We can send you a free one.
that's why routers they're the worst because and they appeal to condominium owners or people or renters because they're cheap. They can be really cheap. To
Mm-hmm.
run their internet off of, a router for each floor and only pay $10 per router.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's awesome. And it is for about 6 months.
Yeah.
And then they just start to fry out
Mm-hmm.
because they're cheap.
Mm-hmm.
They're garbage. Yeah, always buy a cheap router because then you can replace it later with a cheap router. Never buy an expensive one
Yeah.
unless you're doing really, really specific things.
Yeah.
And I can't think of anything specific that we would do that would be like bad illegal.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know? But anyway, I don't know. Maybe drinking beer on TV is, against the law in Alabama. It probably is. You're in Alabama, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I am.
Red Tide, roll Tide.
Mm-hmm.
A 6'4" fullback from Alabama. Oh, Nelly.
Nelly.
God, he was the best. Keith
Yeah.
Jackson.
Uh huh.
God, he was awesome. He was one of my favorite sportscasters of all time.
Yeah.
He was an Alabama native too, wasn't he?
I don't know. Let me take
I
a
think
look.
he was. If you Wikipedia him, I'm almost sure you
Let's
will
take
find him in there.
a
Either
quick.
that or Mississippi. Ole Miss. Who's that one guy? Yeah, he was right with them right around. Oh, but he was baseball guy. Oh yeah, Joe Garagiola. God, I
Mm-hmm.
hated that guy. Remember him?
Yeah,
Short
I
little
do. I
fella
sure
with
do.
the
Yeah, he was
horseshoe
actually.
hair.
He was born in Georgia.
Born in Georgia. All right.
He was a good Southern boy.
I've had Georgia on my mind. Georgia, Georgia, holy through. I'm singing Willie. Well, no, that's one thing. I know Willie won't sue me because he's cool.
Mhm.
You know, even if I sing a song poorly, he'll be like, "Wow, that kid's terrible."
Exactly.
And he's probably the only person alive who can still call me a kid.
Hmm.
So you got many reasons to love Willie Nelson.
Exactly.
As I
Oh,
segue
hang
into
on just a
talking
second.
about Willie Nelson, no problem.
Hello.
Producers are telling me we have to talk about Go Bitter Tall. Go Bitter
Oh,
Tall.
I think there's maintenance people about to come in here in a minute. I think they just knocked next door. They're supposed to change
Nice.
filters and.
Just leave the
Um,
camera on and I'll catch everything.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, nothing to see here. Yeah, my
Dude, like
apartment.
leave a
Uh,
$10 bill on your couch.
yeah.
I'm serious.
Uh,
Like leave like the that couch, just like leave the room, see if they pick
yeah,
it up. Be
my
able to
apartment is
this.
literally still a state in it was like a year and a half ago when I initially moved in, but never put anything away.
I was gonna say, dude, that box, that Amazon box, gives it away because you have stuff stacked on top of the box.
That's still literally that box has been sitting on that couch,
Oh
maybe,
no, 3 months?
but yeah, about that.
Yeah, yeah,
And there's a couple boxes here, and I've got space for it in the walk-in closet where I've got it planned in my mind where stuff will
yeah.
go once I put it in there. And I actually bought this little plastic four-tiered shelf thing that I put in the living room area to put the access because I had a storage locker in Florida where I when my
Oh
mom
yeah, those are
and
great.
I literally brought there's like 97%, 99% of the stuff is out of the locker. The only thing left in there is an old recliner where I'm
Yeah.
going to go deal with next week, and that'll
Same
be
with
done.
mine. Mine ended up becoming a whole family one,
Uh huh.
so all my sisters and my dad use it,
Hmm.
and I got 99% of my stuff out of there.
Yeah.
So I like basically have nothing to do with that place anymore.
Yeah. So, but
So
it's
it's
otherwise.
sweet.
I just literally the condition of my dinner table is the same way it was literally when I moved in terms of me initially putting junk on the table and then
Yeah.
not cleaning the table off. Now I've moved stuff around and some stuff is moved, but some stuff is replaced it as well. So it's still at that
There's
literal.
just an extra.
It's at the literal same level of junk on it and disarray when I first moved in. It's different stuff,
Sure.
but it's never been
It's
cleaner, better, or worse than it has been when I literally that first day when I moved in and just put stuff on it and then just was going to clean it, but just never did.
I never got to it. All right.
And it's just just being a single guy living by himself, where it's just like, no one's coming in to see me, and no one's really badgering me about
Let me.
it. So it's like,
I'll tell you. I'll tell you. I'll tell you. Well, right here is that I have a cleaning lady. She comes to me every week.
mm-hmm.
Comes in. She does the dishes. She mops the floor. She sweeps and mops the floor. She does the linens, all that stuff. Um, but there's not a week that goes by where I don't clean up before she shows up, just as if any guests were coming over.
Exactly.
Not, even more so, because I don't want her. I don't want her to have to do a lot of work that she shouldn't have to do. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Exactly.
And that's been the great motivator for me. Is like if you can't see much behind me, but my place is pretty clean right
Yeah, it looks pretty. Yeah.
now. It's really nice. It's especially god damn, the sweeping is just horrible here. But I used to have a bug problem, but now I just got lizards in here.
Mm.
That's pretty cool, actually. They're little geckos,
Uh
actually.
huh.
They're like out of the commercial and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But they make a sound. They chirp like a little bird.
Okay.
Somewhere between a big cricket and a small sparrow.
Yeah.
And they make this whistly sound, like, and it's weird. I've seen packs of monkeys go onto people's porches, grab things, and then run off.
Mm-hmm.
That's been hilariously fun. Um, because I'm watching it happen. Those things. I mean, seriously, they're walking, they're in a pack, but they're all in a line because they're all walking on the same telephone wire or
Yeah.
whatever. They're all crossing at the same. Some are little, some have a baby attached to the bottom. Creating. They're all walking the same direction that one is leading them.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably one of the most amazing things I've seen. That hasn't been violently horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Unfortunately, I did see someone killed in a motorcycle accident
Oof.
outside of the place. Um, yeah, she could have been more than 17, 18 years old, girl. Passenger, I think, on the back of a bike. And that was horrible to see. Yeah, it's been hell here, man. I'm not going to get too deep into that. I'll talk to you more on a personal level about that, or you can read it in my book, now available
Yeah.
on Amazon. Eh, I'd have to be a total douchebag to do that.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, it was some weird thing. It's just I had a job. I was all lined up for a job, and then it said, "Well, what you have to do is you have to leave Cambodia, stay in quarantine in Thailand for 2 weeks, come back to Cambodia and stay in quarantine for another 2 weeks, and put down a $3,000 deposit in order to come back and work for us for $1,300 a month."
Wow, that's sort of a yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
would have had to
That's a little
do,
too much.
and it was out of my purview.
Yeah.
It was out of every view.
Yeah.
You know, Financially wise. I mean, it's like, God, what am I dropping? You're dropping at least $6,000 right there,
Mm-hmm.
plus the COVID tests, which are like 150 here. I know that
Mm.
much. I have to take one before I get on a plane,
Yeah.
before I go back to Jimmy Carter land,
Oof.
whatever they call it now. China,
Yeah.
China, China.
Man.
It's a great country.
Mm.
It is. It's a fun place. It's got some. Hey, if you can't party in Hong Kong and Shenzhen, Dongguan, and Guangzhou in the same week, then you are not worthy of hanging out with me. I'll tell you that right now. I'm telling that to the audience.
Mm.
But also, Seoul, man. Seoul's cool.
Yeah.
I enjoy Seoul. We had a couple of good times out.
Yeah, and yeah, if I don't know if you've checked your Facebook recently, the past, the what they call it,
Posted something recently, yeah.
the most or your what do they call it, the past, those, you know, let me
Oh,
look.
the memory thing.
Yeah,
The memories, yeah,
because
sure.
it was 6 years ago this weekend we had our little weekend in the 3 day I guess lunar the memories. Yeah,
Oh,
it
right,
was
right.
6 years
Okay.
ago. The boys' night out in Itaewon weekend.
Oh no, was that when you and I met out there that night and we had steak?
Yeah, we stayed, got drunk, and
Continued on through the
permued
evening.
late night. We stayed at whatever motel it was, and
Exactly.
the late
Redacted,
night
redacted, redacted,
various
redacted, redacted.
activities up and down the boulevards of Itaewon that
Until
weekend.
they redacted
Yeah,
and redacted, redacted.
yeah, exactly.
No, Itaewon is, I have a nephew who came to visit me
Mm-hmm.
there, and I wanted to show him a good time, and so we went to Itaewon, and I took him to this country western bar. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
this place was literal Hicksville, man. It was, two steps and line dance and all that, and cowboy hats everywhere, and a lot of soldiers,
Mm-hmm.
even though they're not supposed to go there. In
Yeah,
fact, the MPs like go there from time to time.
yeah,
You remember that? They go there from time to time and walk into this place, make sure that there are no soldiers in there, otherwise they're in a lot of trouble.
mm-hmm.
They're not allowed to go to, what is it called, Hooker Hill or whatever,
Yeah,
because that country
yeah,
western place is right in the
yeah.
middle
I
of,
know. Yeah, I remember
it's
the
not
name
Hooker
of
Hill,
it.
it's like
I,
Ladyboy Hill, because they're
yeah.
too appropriate. But anyway, my little nephew, I go there with my friend Jesus. I go to Parque Jesus, and I go with my little nephew, who at the time was, I want to say 18.
Mm-hmm.
And but he's drinking beer, and we're keeping an eye on him. But I'm tired, and I'm on the verge of passing out. And I leave the hotel room door open all night just for him to make sure that he can come back in. I put the
Yeah.
lock
Yeah,
backwards so
yeah.
they can't lock at all. And I get a call at 5 o'clock in the morning. Now I'm not going to say who. It was somebody not from the United States, but who's white and speaks English and not Canadian. Um, so that leaves basically two empires. Well, actually, one empire. Never mind. Anyway, two groups of islands. And yeah, some guy had just walked up to my nephew and sucker punched him in the jaw. I gave him a concussion, and the hospital in Itaewon wanted $4,000 deposit from him. From a 17, 18-year-old
God
kid.
damn.
And I was like, what the? You know what they made him do? They made him go sleep out on the park bench. It was 40 degrees outside. It was like April. It was April in Seoul.
Yeah.
It was that warm out. You know, not warm out at all. It was chilly. And that poor kid, man. And I'm not gonna say, I didn't say. Did I say his name? I said his name. I won't tell you what else.
I think you did.
Oh,
Yeah, you didn't say his name.
well, anyway, what happened? A lot of times, if you're been drinking and you get knocked out by a punch, you get
Yeah.
concussion or something, you're going to wet yourself.
Yeah.
It just happens. It's natural. It's like when we die. I think we all get dumb.
Yeah.
But you know, it's also embarrassing. Yeah, you wet yourself too. By the way,
Mm.
you know. That poor kid, man. He came to have a good time, and I think that was his third night there because we went to 2 days later. We went to what was the name of that place in our town that had the really nice zoo and the rides and the water.
Um. The.
You know, in
Yeah, I know the sort of the.
Everland.
Yeah, Everland.
It's called Everland. Okay, yeah. I I was thinking that okay, that's too like easy that it would be that, but that sounds very Korea. Everland. You're
Yeah.
right. Because the Everland is named after the line 6 or whatever it is.
Hmm.
The green line,
Yeah.
the one the one trolley one.
Yeah.
Go from what used to be Google.
Hmm.
It was Google, and they turned into I forget what it's called. But your school is a little further from mine. I don't even remember where you lived. You lived over in
I was lived over in Anyang at just off of Indaguan Station,
okay.
and then
Yeah, you're
I had to bus commute over to where they were in not Pang, but just in over in Boondonga. It was about
oh
20 minute bus drive, 15 to 20 minute bus ride over.
yeah, because they were a good they're Boondong because I was on the Boondong line,
Hmm.
and but even just driving there up Boondong to get to there was gosh 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Because I had gone there a couple of times with Michelle, I think her name was, the lady we worked with, who happened to be nice and at the same time really manipulative.
Yeah.
She was something else, man. But one thing I'll never be able to get out of my head about that night was the night we went to a Christmas party, and we all got all us white boys got thrown up on stage and had to dance the Psy song.
Oh yeah.
Well, that whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we just became fodder for
Yeah. Look at the white people.
Asian assholes. Oh my god, they're
Yeah.
dick. But it was totally. I mean, the owner was a nice guy, but
But yeah.
just dumb as rocks. Number one,
Yeah.
and not good at paying people.
Yeah.
But the fact that he was really stupid, I kind of like let him off the hook a little bit for. But fuck that, he owes me $2,000. Give it to
Yeah.
me. You know.
Exactly. Yeah.
She's my last month's pay, you asshole.
Yeah. I'm still not
But
even sure if he ever like just paid like my pension because I still have my pension in Korea from my
you would
previous
know.
job. So and I and because I never got around because I was always planning to go back
Sure.
and but it's then I never claimed it. And
I in the 4 years I worked in Yongdong Middle School, what did I gotten? I had about $11,500 in my pension.
okay.
4 years.
Wow.
Oh, nothing. And that's what built up. They're like, here's your check, bye. Oh, and here's also your airline reimbursement. I was, oh, thanks.
Hmm.
You
Cool.
know. So I added on another, $800 or whatever the hell it was onto it for that particular flight. So yeah, you finish the contract. One of those things. You finish the contract. give me your receipt from your original flight over, and they'll pay for it. They'll pay round trip usually,
Yeah.
but for me, it's going to be either for me and my trip, which is should happen hopefully next week, um, is get a flight on a Thursday out of Shenzhen Airlines
Mm-hmm.
because they're super cheap and they're only about well, I shouldn't even say this online. Damn, people are already looking it up. All right, yes, they're 1,800 Kwai, so about 300 bucks
Yeah.
for one way from Phnom Penh to Shenzhen Bao'an Airport. So I don't know what Guangzhou is doing, but Shenzhen Airlines obviously it's going to be the cheapest one. You take something
Yeah.
like Air Asia or China Southern or something like that, it's going to end up costing you $1,000 easily
Mm.
for a 2.5 hour flight.
Yeah. Oof.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
4 months ago, I kid you not, um, flights one way to Shenzhen from here were 35,000 RMB. So basically, divide that by six.
Mm.
35 divided, and that's what you're getting
Five.
for the price of a damn airline ticket. 6.5, but
Yeah.
between 6 and 7, um, is incredible. Man, the way the dollar and what's the true name of it? Renminbi.
Mm.
I don't even know how to say it. The Chinese yuan.
Mm.
But it's called renminbi. I forget. Do you know?
No,
You're
not at all.
Asian.
Yeah.
You're Asian. You know math.
You people know. Yeah.
I didn't know you were Asian until I found out about your mom.
Yeah. I mean, like, because I've weirdly like, and I've come to find out that it is sort of the weird, like when you mix Korean folk with Caucasian folk.
Yeah.
Occasionally, your offspring come out looking, you know, Latin,
Right?
Latin or white or Latin American esque,
Yeah.
because you'll get the black hair, sort of the darker skin, but the eyes will still be Caucasian esque or European,
Right. Right.
Caucasian esque. So you don't,
Yeah.
because even when I was in Korea, they were like, "Oh, we thought you were like Spanish or Central American or something, not
Right. Right. Right.
you know."
I think you just for a big Irish guy
Mm.
like me, except for I was smaller. I was
Yeah.
a small Irish guy. That's I always thought you were. And then you talked about your mom. Oh damn. Oh yeah. And as soon as you told me, I looked at you. Oh yeah. But even now, you remind me of my Uncle Bill.
Mm.
But the reason I bring this up is because I have another friend who is part Asian, and you had said this before, but you can totally tell the Asianness once he tells you it. He's very white. He's English.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have the skin tone change. He's very pasty white Englishman.
Mm.
But he's got these great Spock eyes. The
Yeah.
really nice shaped eyebrows
Yeah.
and the really nice almond eyes. But he's got the double eyelids. He hasn't had surgery. But they're very pretty.
Mm.
Asian eyes are. It's
Yeah.
just very, very piercing eyes, and they're
Mhm.
they're very they're actually very nice. If I was gay, I'd be talking even more about them. But it's it's funny, and the reason I'm babbling is I've been smoking weed. But I don't even know what's funny anymore. That's what happens
Uh-huh.
when you don't have a script. I'll have somebody go, Carson, we gotta cut to commercial.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I don't know. This is pretty much how this is pretty much going how any of my past podcasts went, because I'd have a vague, because I never sort of I outline it, but I never really completely with mild
Sure.
details, and then I'd ramble and just have long uhs or various pregnant pauses where I'm just like, yeah, I don't know what so.
Man, I go live on Facebook and I just say nothing. I just sit there and I drink. And if anybody wants to watch, they can watch.
Yeah.
And then when I wake up the next morning, I look at it and go, oh shit, I was live? How many people
Yeah.
watched it?
Exactly.
Like two people watched it and I just deleted.
Mm.
Because, okay, fine, you don't want to look at the Mekong River? Fuck you.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to look at the Mekong River?
Yeah.
What the hell's your problem? It's just a free shot. I'm not going to have to talk to you. You don't have to talk to me. You're just watching a live cam.
Exactly.
Yeah. People are so insulated these days. They weren't ready to be insulated before COVID in the United States. They weren't ready. They're not ready now.
No.
That's why there's such this backlash against masks and all that garbage.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's the most selfish attitude I've ever heard from a human being in my entire life. You know, you're not doing it to protect yourself, asshole.
It's just, I mean, yeah, it's just a freaking mess. Like,
Well, this personal liberty bullshit is like, oh my body. Are you gonna bring up the my body, my choice argument,
yeah,
motherfucker? You,
yeah.
you Florida fuck, you know, any of those Southern Baptist states. Sorry for ditching half of America, but I'll be
And
that guy.
yeah, not to get yeah. Since we were talking, you sort of straight because I had sort of a religious, not I won't say epiphany, but I'm not
We're
very
coming to God experience.
yeah. So I'm not
Ooh,
particularly religious, but I
all
just
right.
sort of had a confirming personal confirmation on my non-religiousness because I was so yesterday I
Okay, you didn't ever coming to God. You had a good. All right,
yeah.
good.
So I was basically I did a lot of driving yesterday because I went to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I bought
Damn.
another computer monitor because like basically my job is changing. The we're basically we're AT&T is discontinuing the account, and I shouldn't have said that, but our client is discontinuing the uh, account with us. Uh,
Okay.
so we're no longer going to be servicing that client after March 31st,
Okay.
and that the work computer I got, it's all related to that client, so I have to turn it back in and basically start using a personal computer, which is
Sure.
now that I think about it, isn't having a company where you have work at home call center technicians and all you really do is provide the software
Yeah.
and just it's a pretty good deal. It's a pretty good scam. You know what I
It
mean?
is.
Because
It really is.
you're making me provide my own computer, my own internet. Now you are paying me an hourly wage. Get me wrong, but
Yep.
that your
Your initial
client is
investment.
pay. Yeah, basically you're like what is it? Basically you're a recruiter for a school recruiter because they're
You
paying
could.
you, you're paying
Yeah.
me, and you're
And you
really
can write that off on your taxes,
yeah.
but you bought it 3 years ago, and how often you use it for personal use,
Mhm.
you have to include all that on your taxes, and it ends up being nothing. You end up getting
Yeah.
nothing out of it.
Yeah, because
There's no
like,
return on
because if it isn't over that personal deduction they give you anyway, it doesn't
it. Right.
even factor in.
Hmm.
All your itemized whatever.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's when you got to get an accountant involved and all that
Yeah,
garbage. I've
and
never
they
done that. It's
and
just,
I never do that either. It's just like if it doesn't make a difference, I don't even have to. Yeah, it's just like just take the whatever the individual standard deduction is, and I just
yeah.
and I did my
Exactly.
taxes, and I am thoroughly disappointed in my personal tax situation this year. I just I've just changed subjects, and I just totally forgot what my
Well, not really.
yeah. Well, I'll come back to it because I now remember. But
Yeah.
apparently, I made like 4 grand more this year than I did last year.
Well, damn, man, you had the best 2020 ever.
Well,
Of
and it's only
anybody.
because my shitty last job
Yeah.
worked me to the bone and then fired me,
Oh shit.
and then that's why I ended up with this job now. And from what I'm thinking, and then I did the numbers on this job, and luckily enough, my that $4,000, if I keep this job through this 2021, it'll go back down to just above poverty level like it should be.
Right, of course.
But like but
Great.
that 4,000 more just screwed. It thoroughly reduced my expected tax return from what I thought it
Oh,
would be.
I imagine. It put you in a different tax bracket.
Yeah. So it's like I thought I was gonna because like last year I got like 800 or 600 back from federal,
Yeah.
and it's only going to be like a quarter of that this year, if not a little less.
Yeah.
So and
Well,
but
well, that's the thing. I was making, what was it? In one city, I was making 18,000 RMB a month. I was
mhm,
netting
mhm,
18,000 RMB a month, which is 3 grand, approximately.
yeah.
sometimes better, sometimes worse. Which is pretty decent for your first gig in China. Damn decent.
Yeah.
But most jobs now are paying at least 24.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, what was my point in all that? I did have a point to it that was following up what you were just saying, but like I said, I've been talking.
Yeah.
There are monsters in here.
Yeah.
Anyway, could you segue?
Yeah. Today's weather.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're live.
Yeah.
Hey, Rush Limbaugh's dead. That's awesome news.
Yeah.
That's some of the best news I've heard all year.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that because I don't like doing that, but I've only cheered for two people's deaths, and that was Richard Nixon and fucking Rush Limbaugh. Fuck both of them.
Yeah. I sort of feel the same way because, like, yeah, because I got this one cousin who's the one who's very openly liberal lives in Virginia, and he posted
Okay.
a picture of. It was yesterday morning before I found out. I realized that he had passed. He had posted a picture of Rush Limbaugh with when he was getting the Presidential Medal of Freedom from Trump, but it had the word pig on it. But with no
No context.
no context that he had posting it because he passed or whatever.
Right.
So and I liked it. I liked that pig because I think I didn't like Rush Limbaugh. I don't like Rush Limbaugh. I don't.
Which one's the pig here?
Yeah.
That's what
So
I'm thinking.
it didn't have Trump in it.
Oh, yeah.
It was just him with wearing the medal at that ceremony.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I just like I said, I liked it because I think Trump. I thought I still think Limbaugh's a
And it's
pig.
kind of trolly. It's kind of trolly.
But then then I found out later he had passed, and like you said, it's like
No.
I feel bad. He's
No.
I sort of I don't wish I don't wish death on most folks,
No.
and I sort of actually don't necessarily. I severely don't like. What is it? Who are we talking about again? Limbaugh.
Dick Cheney?
Yeah. Yeah, I severely don't dislike. I severely don't like Limbaugh. But I don't know to the point of necessarily wishing death on him. I would definitely wish Schadenfreude, bad things happening to him in terms of legal matters, suing him, and just being really, really annoyed by everybody's existence.
Well,
I'll say this: I don't wish the cancer he had on him. But
no, of course not.
But his life, I do hope that up to that he was relatively not in pain physically, but the fact that Biden won and everything else happening politically annoyed him thoroughly. I do wish that.
I'm just glad that he stopped talking.
Yes.
It's kind of like what's his face's Twitter account. See, I don't even remember his name anymore. He was that feckless of a president. I don't even remember his name anymore. Mr. One Term, not named Bush.
Yeah.
I didn't like that, Trumpers.
Yeah.
I remember his name. But yeah, I don't know. It was a weird 4 years, man.
Yeah.
I've seen families split apart by it.
Yeah.
I really have, and it's sad.
And what's sort of sad, sort of sad to me, not sad, but just sort of scary, is that if he had at least been empathetic, maybe 15% more in any level.
President ever.
If he had any level of empathy or just
sociopath,
like to the level he could just have said what he have said, then come back and said, look, I didn't mean, just like
out of context.
I was just, I'm just trying to be real and just, instead of just doubling down every single time.
Right, have your people come back with a statement that sounds realistic and say it.
Just like say, hey, this is what we're really thinking. I'm just, But
Trump, that's why Trump.
He could have been reelected.
They loved him because he was unapologetic.
Yeah.
And he remains unapologetic for everything he's ever done.
And here's the thing, though.
Even wishing already, exonerated black teens to be hanged.
Yeah, and here's the thing
And
though, you can't. Your president can't be one of us.
no,
He
and I
can't
sure
be
hope
one of us.
if
And
he's
you
if,
think
if
that, and you
he's one
think
of
that
us,
you and you think you want that. Well, you got that. We got that for 4 years. He can't be
yeah, the
one of
closest
us.
thing he had to one of us is Biden actually, because he was the Mister. I take the subway to Washington D.C. every day from Delaware.
Well, at
I'm
least
just
in
saying that
his
was his whole
case,
spiel.
he's been in the system to where
He had to live in Delaware.
he's been
He
in.
had to live in Delaware.
Yeah, he has
Hey,
knows the system.
yeah.
He's at least somewhat qualified for the job. In that,
Well, yeah, I was looking back on the gentleman. I realized he was the first person I ever voted for.
really,
The 1988 Democratic primary in Wisconsin.
mm,
He was running for president that year, and he was on the ticket still. As a
yeah.
primary runner.
Was that
Which
the
which
year
year?
Dukakis was the nominee?
Yeah, 88. That would have been Dukakis, right?
Okay, yeah,
Bush, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Because
Dukakis ended up winning. I remember
I was
Paul
way
Scott.
more uh, uh, very Republican back then. Not necessarily socially, but due to for foreign policy, because
Well, yeah,
being a
everybody basically
military
was because
family and just
everything starts with Nixon, then Carter came, and the whole Iran thing happened, and then Reagan came, and
yeah.
you know,
And
yeah,
I don't,
everybody was very rah-rah.
and everyone acts like, oh, we've had such, you know, Democrats have dominated the White House. There's only been what, uh, like
It's really well,
LBJ, then
yeah,
like Carter,
yeah,
then
yeah. But
Clinton, and
comparing
then
LBJ to a Democrat today is like comparing Eisenhower, a Republican, to a
yeah,
Republican
yeah,
today.
because LBJ would be a. It's sad because LBJ is like a moderate Republican today.
Oh, LBJ would have brought the taxes down from Eisenhower. It
Yeah,
would have been like, what the hell are you thinking? This 60%
yeah,
bullshit for company. You know, God, that's what made America great.
yeah,
Tax the hell out of these companies that are just pilfering the United States,
yeah,
and that's what they were doing, and they were still getting rich doing it.
yeah.
It's like it's not like they were losing.
Cause that's yeah, because we basically cut taxes, but we never got rid of the loopholes or the deductions. That was like that's the way you go back to just having the taxes. Then you have and actually have the meaningful like deduction. You lower your taxes by doing the deductions.
Well, especially on an individual level. I mean,
Yeah,
when you're doing it as a small business, it's when well, number one, you should be able to hire, at least H&R Block to do it for you own a
yeah,
business, right? You should have somebody else be doing your taxes
yeah,
and turn your receipts and all that crap and make sure that you're on the up and up about everything. And just be honest about it, and this is what I owe, and this is what I pay, and blah blah blah. And write
yeah,
the stuff out that you get. But for an individual, it's like, come on, get off your ass. It's easy to file
yeah,
taxes. It's easy. And okay, yes, if you have 30,000 mortgages out and you have, 3 cars and you have 4 ex-wives and you're paying alimony and you have a bunch of dependents, yes, then go see H&R Block. But if you're me, guy who's never been married, doesn't have any kids, never owned a home, you
yeah,
know, do my taxes for breeze. The 30-minute annoyance.
yeah. Exactly. That's what I've done
And
every year
that's for
since.
most people, I think,
Yeah.
At least most guys 18 to 99. you know,
Hmm.
I don't know. At least the smart ones, anyway.
Yeah.
Don't end up paying alimony. That would be a terrible thing.
Oh, very.
It's just like having a hole in your pocket.
Yeah.
Um, say what you will, but alimony is, it's money spent, but very little oversight. But I don't want anybody overseeing the money that my ex-wife would end up getting anyway. So fuck them.
Yeah.
Very libertarian of me to say that, but in a democratic sort of way, I guess.
Hmm.
Because I don't want the damn government overseeing, how much money I give my child every month, or my girlfriend
Hmm.
who lives in Malaysia or whatever, whoever it is, um, as long as it's not over that weird amount, that's $5,000, I think it is, that if you suddenly deposit $5,000 in a U.S. bank account,
Yeah,
um,
they have to
it automatically gets
notify.
flagged.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Um, I've had only I've only had zero experiences of ever having deposited $5,000 in my account at one time. I don't know about you, but I've had zero.
Yeah, I've had
I can't.
I've had experiences mainly because it was like after my mom passed, she like
Oh, sure, yeah,
dealing.
something like that.
She had
Yeah, everything went to my old man. So,
mm,
uh, but he came close. Yeah, he gave us all $4,000
mm,
on Christmas that year, which is a really nice gift. Um, which obviously came from her life insurance policy, I'm sure. But at $4,000, I think it can be written off as a gift or something like that.
yeah.
You know, yeah. So if you reach that certain threshold, and he's one of those guys who does his taxes all on his own. He's just a math guy and a
Mm.
business dude. Oh man. So what relative lives closest to you now?
I have about 45 minutes away where I used to live. When I lived with my aunt, I've got a cluster of relatives there in Wilcox,
Okay.
Marengo and Wilcox County, around area of uh, Pine Hill, Alabama, and Arlington, Alabama.
Shout out to Pine Hill in Arlington, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Two of my favorite places I've never been to, but I would love to see. Do they
Okay.
have diners? Do they have diners?
They do have diners actually.
Uh,
Lovely
can I
little
get
country.
can I get get grits and some sunny side
Oh,
up eggs?
absolutely, brother.
Well, fucking hey, man. Then you know I'm coming. I'm coming. That's all I need. All I've ever needed is a good greasy spoon. Beer in the afternoon and a bed. That's all I've
Then
ever
you
really
could
needed.
definitely, if that's all you would need, then you could definitely sustain a living here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the problem with being in Phnom Penh is that there's sin everywhere around you,
Mm.
and I feel like I'm in those biblical cities. What is it, Sodom and Gomorrah?
Yeah,
Where the people are so poor,
yeah.
and the country depends so much on tourism. Do you blame these girls for doing this
No.
and going actually to what's considered a legitimate company that police officers can own? Strikingly funny. Um, where it's kind of a controlled environment, and they decide the yeses and nos, and if they want to go, they decide prices and all that crap. But it's gross. It's gross. Because if you walk down these streets, and I'll send you a video. I'll put it in my pocket sometime. Just walk down this one street in Phnom Penh, where because I always have to go from the restaurant where I eat, which
Mm-hmm.
is on the river, down to a kind of a Western style market where I
Yeah.
can get the goldfish crackers and
Yeah.
Snickers bars and stuff like that. Um, and I'm basically walking down Bar Street, and they'll just hear, "Hey, baby, woo!" Guys get catcalled,
Yeah.
and whatever we're called. I don't know if cat has a female,
Yeah.
into it. But we're being catcalled. And hey, you, hey bong, hey brother, you come have a drink with me. Come have a drink with me. I take
Mm.
care of you. I take care of you.
Yeah.
And it's really quite. They're just number one. They're just disgusting.
Yeah.
They're all a bunch of martini hags.
Yeah.
You know, a bunch of golden girls sitting around the campfire having cosmos.
Yeah.
You know,
Uh huh.
uh, it's also very sad because crime has jumped here, I believe, percent
Mm.
since COVID because there have been no tourists,
Yeah.
and that's what this country relies on. Siem Reap, with Angkor Wat, and then Phnom Penh with it's bar girls in the bars and all that thing that it draws all the sexpats.
Yeah.
So it's their economy is just hemorrhaging.
Mm.
The only ones holding them up are China right now, and China could give them a much bigger boost, much the way the United States could give Puerto Rico a much bigger boost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, in many ways, same respects. Um, 'Cause, I mean, who thinks that Thailand or Vietnam or Cambodia isn't just another satellite of the Chinese Empire?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that sounded good. I had to throw that through the old preamp later. Well, if I had the preamp on, it'd be preamping. So I'll have to post amp it.
Yeah, we'll get it.
Anyway.
We'll take care of it in post.
Yeah. God, that used to be the running joke when I was working in video and all that.
Uh-huh.
Don't worry about looking at it. We'll take care of it in post. I went I went one time to the local newspaper. I had to get a shot of a photograph that they had,
Mhm.
and the only photograph they had, they put it on a monitor
Mm.
for me. So my white balance was off for some reason, and so it came back and it was hued. It was
Mm.
hued the color blue, and I come back and the producer was all pissed off. Oh, Carson, what the hell is this? We can't use this. I looked at it and said, sure you can. It's a black and white photo. Just take take it out. Because it was just a black and white photo. And for some reason, the camera got confused when I was doing a white balance. Because something with and people with more technical know-how would know that when you're dealing with a monitor and the waves that are coming
Yeah.
through, that it messes with the camera's optics and all that crap. And so it ended up making everything turn blue for some
Yeah.
reason. Instead of 35 Kelvin, it ended up being 24 or something like
Mm.
that. I don't know. Oh, Center Hell and I, brother. Wow, it's 2:48 in the morning,
Oof.
and I'm really been trying to filter myself. I
That's
really
okay.
have.
No. Don't worry. We literally have no audience whatsoever. So it's just you and me basically. So there's gonna be there will be no issue like the oh yeah.
It's being recorded somewhere, I'm sure.
Oh,
I'm
it's
not.
gonna be it's like and it'll be in the archives on my Twitch channel. So we can if you want to take a look at it later and you
Well,
know
I was gonna suggest we just put it on the cloud
yeah
and you know pull from that. I wish I could have full screens of both of us, and I should have done that. And I could have done that with OBS. And but we kind of did this on the fly. I was like, oh shit, he's up. That's
yeah
right, he's off today, and now he's considering taking off tomorrow too. What's going on?
yeah
Never talked to this guy.
exactly. I was just
Man.
like screw it. I just don't feel like ugh. And I still might go to work tomorrow. I don't know. It's just
I understand.
I was just
I
looking.
understand, man. When I first got thrown into online teaching,
Uh huh.
and these were with kids I already knew, and that's
Mhm.
what made me so mad was how ambivalent they became,
Mm.
and how much more prep goes into online teaching than
Yeah.
teaching in person. You have to be the Hamburglar or Ronald McDonald. You have to be some sort of character in order to grab kids' attention on a giant screen TV these days.
Yeah.
If I just sit there and I monotone, you know, I don't know, let's say to have, AMR and B and all that, to be uh, all the different variants, that's very boring and it's very, even playing a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, like one of those old PowerPoint games we used to play with the kids,
Mhm.
The really fun ones. You get them off of waygook.com, which is now a pay site, which really pisses me off because people would share their own made content,
Yeah.
and then the site, which was designed for teachers in Korea, decided to go put a paywall behind it and wouldn't let any of the original developers of
Mhm.
these different whether it be PowerPoints or lesson plans or whole kit and caboodle of docs and uploads of their scans and everything like that, because they were sharing with other people. They wouldn't let them get back to it to either bring it down or to claim it as theirs.
So basically, they just stole everybody's content.
They stole everybody's content.
Yeah.
Because it was basically a very late 80s, early 90s concept idea of people just having what's called an honor system.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And it was really horrible when they did that, when they suddenly went to paywall. Now, the person could have done it in a much more tactful way,
Mhm.
let's put it that way. Um, I understand that you're in, but the person wasn't like totally in debt from it. He was just starting to lose a little money per month. I'm losing like $30 a month on the site now. Okay, cool. How about you hire some advertisers?
Yeah.
Nobody wanted advertisers. Nobody wanted advertisers. So he first went to the masses, and then he stopped listening to them because everybody was had some sort of weird demand. And then he just, I don't know. I don't even know what happened with it because I don't teach in Korea anymore. I have no reason to go to that site.
Yeah.
Although the bomb games you can alter for fun, those are fun. Those are a lot of fun. But it's one of those places that it just got mass consumed for some reason. I'm sure it's owned by some conglomerate now. Like
Yeah.
T-Mobile and AT&T. Who are the two big phone companies that merged?
I
The
want to say
T-Mobile.
T-Mobile and Sprint.
Okay. Can you feel me now? Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
I think they were the ones who had the most recent big merger.
Yeah, and it was one that had to actually be cleared by like the United States government,
Yeah.
because it was so big.
Yeah.
You
You'd
know, it
had
was
to.
like, okay, we're dancing on monopoly laws here.
Yeah.
How does the Trump administration feel about monopolies? Oh, I'm so glad he's president. You know, I would have
Yeah.
been. Had you been
Yeah.
the CEO of either of those companies?
Oh
Hell
yeah.
yeah, you'd be president.
Any Republican would, or any
Yeah,
Republican.
any Republican who is rich and knows how to invest money
Yeah.
and has money to burn, yeah. But most Republicans I know are just working class Joes who've been duped by people like dead Rush Limbaugh and his pill peddling asshole friends.
Yeah.
Is that too mean? I don't mean to be. Actually, I do. The guy was a fucking dope head, and I'll second it by this: is that Rush Limbaugh had the ACLU come to his defense when he got in trouble for his first drug possession, and the ACLU came to his defense, and he never attacked them again. Now he never apologized to him, but he never brought up the ACLU again. How often do you hear about the ACLU in talking points from the Republicans anymore?
Yeah.
Rarely, if ever,
Yeah.
right? They're still in existence. They're still strong,
Yep.
you know. But they were the punching bag of the right for decades,
Yeah.
decades, and just it was basically just an organization of lawyers that were for equal rights
Yeah.
in the most basic sense. Yeah, fuck Rush Limbaugh, man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say it, but god damn that guy. He poisoned so many people's minds, the people that I love. Screw him. He
Yeah.
was a, he was a Ayn Rand and Ayn Rand hated him. If Ayn Rand hated him, he must have been, I don't know, either too liberal or too evil. I don't know. Um,
That's what always gets me. Is like, are they the way they are because they genuinely believe it, or are they just doing it for the money or in the audience?
yeah, they're opportunists. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And it's just that's
yeah.
what like annoys me about at least. And I'm not
Well, at
saying that
least
there aren't folks on the left that are the same way, but at least they're talking. At least their talking points are about providing for
right.
folks and tax.
Well,
You know.
well, I look at it this way: is that being greedy and wanting to have money and get rich from something that you did, that is very human to me.
Yeah.
So I look at it from that point of view. So I can't. It's very hard for me to reconcile that Rush Limbaugh was that big of a dick. It
Mm-hmm.
had to be part act. But part act or not, part act or not, he was still such an influence on American politics
Yeah.
that he changed a generation.
Oh yeah.
Right? He created the, AM, we're being persecuted, right wing media machine, which existed prior, and there's never been a liberal media except for the, don't kill the puppy dogs at the end part.
Mm-hmm.
That's always the cute little puppy dog stories. Fine, go with those. But they're not ones that have anything to do with real issues like Social Security and anything like that. There was never any like liberal slant to any media. I worked in it. They're all a bunch of capitalists, and they usually were just like, dude, just lower my taxes. That's all
Yeah,
anybody wants. You
yeah,
know what
because
I mean?
it's always yeah, because as far as from my as a layman's terms of media, it's like
Well, it's a
the
cop
new
out.
yeah, it's like they want to report news because especially bad news because that's what people want to hear.
They do.
Or people doing getting caught doing bad things.
Right. Right.
Whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, if you get
Doesn't
caught doing
matter.
something you're not, people want to know
People
about
love
that
that
because
shit.
yeah, people like seeing people. They like seeing people fall, so that's why people it gets reported. That sells,
Absolutely.
and that
It's more important to the budget. You
yeah,
know?
and if people are watching, that's where the advertisers go.
Yeah, we
They
love them.
go where the people are.
Oh, they sure do. And then they flee.
Yeah,
What
and
is it?
when
When they
when
fall
someone
under
gets called
cancer.
on it, yeah,
Well, sucks to be you. You
yep,
know,
that's the
I
world.
could have told you 10 years ago that Tucker Carlson was a white fucking supremacist asshole.
Oh God, I can't stand him.
You know?
Now he's the one oh my, he just makes like.
I was thinking of people tonight that I wouldn't mind if
Now
it
he's on
wouldn't
my.
faze me if a wax
Now
album
he
was
is
sold.
on my. He can just die list.
Yeah,
You know.
him and
Now
Pappy.
give me. Yeah, yeah. Like. And maybe there's some level because I remember when I was younger, I actually when Limbaugh first came out, he had like a syndicated his show was syndicated and like
We
it
had
was
the
like a
TV show for a while too.
yeah, it was like a 30-minute or 1 hour like and came on like around 10:30, 11 o'clock at night where I was
It
anyway,
was hilarious. It
and
was
it was
hilarious.
still
He had a countdown until Bill Clinton gets removed as president. You know, it was a countdown to the election, and then Clinton won again.
yeah, and it was
And then
like
he had to change the whole format of his countdown.
and then it was and it was he was and this was still back pre conspiracy theory pre Democrats were evil demons sent from the devil, yada yada yada.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Have you ever heard
that
Spiro Agnew speak?
we're all socialist communists.
Yeah. Well, Spiro
That
Agnew was pretty good at blaming the media.
yeah, so
You know, we were all, liberals in that sense back then was anybody who asked why are the poor hungry.
yeah.
You know, was that old quote? I'm sorry who I can't remember who to attribute it to, but he said, when I give food to the poor, they call me a saint. When I ask why are the poor hungry, they call me a communist. It's a great quote,
Mm.
and I'm really angry at myself that I can't remember who said it. It's like Ella Wheeler Wilcox, somebody you know, somebody very witty with their words, quite a wordsmith. But anyway, damn man, it is going on 3 a.m. here.
Mm.
This is what I did today. I
Mm.
went and I picked up my AIDS and syphilis test that's required by the Chinese government.
Okay.
Would you like to know the results?
Yes, with your
Live
permission,
on
and
Twitch.
yes, if you would like to disclose, by all
Full disclosure.
our inquiring hundreds and hundreds of viewers would love to know your present medical situation.
Well, it's only in. I mean, I could get out the whole thing and tell you my lipids and stuff like that, but I don't think anybody's interested in that. I don't think anybody's interested in whether I passed an AIDS test or not. Well, I'm sure some are, but I know I passed both. Obviously, I'm clear of any STDs.
Well, that's good. That is good.
My white blood cell count was a little high, but they attributed that to a current sinus infection that I got.
Okay.
What can you do?
Yeah.
And what do you call it? Platelets. Platelets were a little high.
Okay.
So I'm taking a little bit of aspirin every
Okay.
day. Yeah.
Good to know.
Don't have to take Coumadin, but don't have to take blood thinners either. You know, that
Okay.
sort of thing. Yeah. More like stop eating salt.
Ooh, that's a toughie.
I know.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, it is.
That's
It's like with camels and pizza around you. That's all I have.
Yeah.
That's half my food group.
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever put salt on pizza?
I have not. But then again,
Have you
I've
ever
always,
put-
gotten this, pepperoni. I've always put the saltier ingredients on there to begin with.
All right. Have you ever put Tabasco on a pizza?
Oh yeah, now I have done that.
All right, then you put salt on a pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have put hot sauce on a pizza. I have done that.
Yeah. 'Cause most hot sauces are very sodium rich, but it does bring out the flavor of that pepperoni, man. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Especially with a nice cold beer,
Mm.
a good American watery beer.
Yeah.
It's just cold and refreshing, right out of the cooler. Where that ice and water mixture is just, oh God, it's just beautiful.
Oh, here's a random thing. So I'm into comic books,
Right on.
and and just interested in sort of random pop culture collectibles as well. Just as part of the overall comic book collecting. Well, recently,
You're like a spear fisherman.
yeah. So I recently came into a minor financial windfall. Basically, and by windfall, I was able to come up with some money to keep myself floating.
Nice. You were able to come up with hundreds of dollars.
Yes, actually, yes.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
comic book card, basically non-sports trading cards are having sort of a boom right now.
Okay.
So especially older ones from like the early '90s.
Kill me right now if you know what I'm thinking about. Continue.
So anyway, there's this DC in the two major companies, actually there are more major companies now than there used to be, but the most well known are DC, Superman, and Marvel. Spider-Man, yada yada,
Yeah.
like the movies anyway.
Yeah, it's the same as the film rivals.
And anyway, so now if you can find a sealed box of trading cards from because back in '91 they released their first sets of trading cards back in '91.
Is that Topps? Are you talking about?
Actually, DC used a different company, but I think Marvel may have used Topps.
Okay.
That produced cards. So the Marvel and
Yeah.
sealed boxes. If you happen to find a box of sealed cards, especially Marvel, basically a sealed box of cards can go for around $350 to $400.
Okay. That's a nice amount of money.
Okay. About a month. Now the same box of cards about 3 months ago. I just happened to be looking because part of the story is I happened to locate a sealed box of cards at a vintage store in the region, and I was like, this is interesting. Let me go see what it's going for on eBay, and and it was actually cheaper on eBay at the time than it was at the store. Because about 4 or 5 months ago, it was like $15 for this same box of cards, sealed. For whatever reason, 4 months later, that same box is now $350 to $400.
Holy cow.
Okay.
You even have the numbers in front of you on that? That's crazy how much of a jump in.
Because, here's the thing. I just happened, last week, I went down to the same place in Prattville, Alabama. And that box was still there. Sealed box. For $40.
For 40. They raised it a little bit.
No, it was actually, on eBay it was 15 at the time.
Well,
but and that's why I didn't buy it at the store, because it was cheaper on eBay.
Sure.
So I was like, I'll just get it on eBay, and I just never got around to it. And I went back, and like I said, it was still there at $40, and I'm like, oh my god. But and it was a slow business day, so there was only 2 people in the store handling. They were doing other things, so I'm like, okay, and I was literally like, calm down, be cool, be cool. And then because they had, because it was one of those, they don't update the prices, they didn't check, just be cool, that don't let them know why you're excited. They'll be like, why? Let me check the price on this for you, and okay.
What are you feeling back from school? Do they have the eBay open?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So and then I actually get in my hand, and it's still pristine, sealed. Still got the original seal from the company seal from from '91. And so here's my initial plan was, like I said, it was selling at $350 to $400. I'm gonna go on eBay, auction it off. Starting price $250.
Nice.
With a buy it now price for $325. Just under the going rate, but I'm still making a shitload of money.
You got 325 in about 3 minutes. I bet.
It took only 2 hours that somebody bought this, and I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
Here's the thing is, there were still auctions at lower price ongoing.
Really.
You know,
There was somebody who wanted it right.
but there's somebody who wanted it right now for $325, and I'm like,
they could sell somebody else for $375 and add that.
yeah,
That's their whole business.
it can still, yeah. And I'm still going, and I'm still literally like, what the fuck is happening? And I'm still like, this has got to be some. And then okay, and then I look at the seller or the buyer. He's a new buyer.
Of course.
Yeah. He's only got 2 feedback, but it's still 100%. But I'm like, oh, this guy's got to be a scam. He's going to pull some shit. It's okay. I'm not okay. Fine, we'll let it play out. But it played out fine though, because like within a day he had a bunch of more positive feedbacks, and he's buying a bunch of cards. He's buying cards.
Who's the main money trafficker through eBay these days? Is
PayPal.
it still PayPal?
It's still PayPal.
Okay.
And they took. Needless to say, they took their share. Needless to say, they took their share.
I was gonna say they take a share of everything.
Oh yeah, and it ended up being like about $50 because eBay takes like 10%, PayPal takes like 10%.
Oh, fuck Peter Thiel and a fucking ass.
But
fuck that guy.
But I still can't complain too hard because I still ended up with about $260, $270 on a $40 investment.
Sure. But 20%, man, that's fucking Western Union fees, man.
Yeah. So it was like, but still, it's just for a box of DC comic trading cards from 1991, and it just happened to be. And here's the weird thing: if you wanted a complete set of cards already without having to sift through them,
just collecting them.
Just for collect. If you want a complete set of cards, $30.
Jesus.
$30. If you already sifted through a complete set, but opened.
Yeah.
Obviously open.
Was open, and maybe Thor is cracked a little. And...
Yeah, maybe not 100. Because that's another thing. Because apparently what started the trend is Pokemon cards.
Oh, sure.
Because there are companies now that grade card, the quality, that grade the card.
Yeah.
So
they used to do that with dollar bills too.
Yeah, dollars, and they do that with comic books now too, and which I'm sort of into as well. The high graded comic books is they grade the cards and just having and just like just the fact that and it jumped all these cards up in value overnight.
That's awesome, man. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing that you were in, you were in that position to begin with to be able to get these cards, right?
Mm-hmm.
And B, that you learned about it just like any other regular Joe would, but you knew where they were, like, wait.
It was just one serendipitous little moment where I was like...
Exactly, great word for it, serendipitous, absolutely.
Yeah.
Most people, they're called insider traders.
Yeah.
Do that all the time.
Yeah.
God, that's amazing. Pokemon was a big card, and I asked my brother-in-law one time if I had one of those 14 karat gold foiled Pokemon cards, and I asked my brother-in-law do you think this is worth anything? It's sealed. It's I know that it's got this 14 karat gold foil on it, which is nothing. It just makes it look cool. Blah blah blah, and then I hear later on that like the one that actually has Pokemon on it or whatever. Who's the main guy? Who's the main Pokemon? There's a gold one worth like $1 million.
I know the I can't remember the name of the character, but Pikachu. Is it Pikachu?
It might be Pikachu.
The little cute yellow one.
Yeah, that thing. Kind of like Justin Bieber, but with ears.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness. The money that gets spent on these weird little niches.
Yeah.
it's quite amazing. Um, like I don't know many niches here, but back in the States, there's quite a lot of niches.
Yeah.
Here people just buy food
Yeah.
because they're hungry.
Exactly.
Sad. It's sad, man. I mean, my tow truck driver, this guy that I rarely use because he's always trying to rip off foreigners, but I've known he's been ripping off foreigners. I'm like, all right, man, I'm going to set the price with you, and you're going to get more than you normally would any other truck guy. But this is what you're doing. You're taking me here, and you're going to wait, and then you're taking me there, and then you're going to wait, and then you're taking me there, and you're going to wait, and then you're going to take me home. Okay? All right.
Mhm.
Here's I'll give you $15 at the end of the day, and that's 4 hours of work.
Mhm.
It's glorious.
Yeah.
And I buy lunch, and I, keep them because they get something like for one ride, if they go through this one kind of a unionized company, but it's more of
Yeah.
a corporate union,
Yeah.
they get paid. They get paid 50 cents on the dollar
Oof.
for every fare, and their fares are less than $1 usually.
Mm.
I mean, they're really, really bad. These guys make maybe $400 a month if they're lucky.
Mm.
It's that's one of the higher incomes. The only people that make money more than $1,000 a month are assholes with bachelor's degrees like you and me who
Yeah.
happen to get teaching jobs there.
Yeah.
It's really unfair.
Mm.
It's really unfair. I think it is, but you know, gift horse mouth scenario if there ever was one.
Mhm.
But there isn't much of a gift horse here because I was only making about $1,000 a month.
Mm.
When all is said and done, and the, half my rent right there.
Mhm.
Okay, now I have $500 to spend on uh, food and clothing and living and eating and all and medication and
Mhm.
anything else. It was tight. It's been tight. But yeah, I only had that for 3 months though.
Mhm.
I made $3,000. Ooh, great. I was able to pay back some of my debts.
Mm.
Yeah, it was rough. But I'm out of here soon.
Yeah. Woohoo.
Man, I tell you, I love it here. I do. The people that I've met that I've become friends with here, they're beautiful. They're wonderful people. I love them so much. At the same time, it's like, get me the hell out of here so I can make some goddamn good old Chinese American money.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't care what it is. I'll be making 4 times that amount in China.
Mhm.
And you can, I don't have a house payment. I don't have, talked about this before. I don't have a house payment. I don't have a car payment. I don't have any of that shit. I could pretty much lead a middle class lifestyle
Yeah.
in a very nice city.
Mhm.
4,000 a month? Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Mhm.
Um, so it'll be nice to have money again.
Yeah.
I'll fly you out sometime when I'm all rich and famous.
Okay. Cool deal. Or I'll
But no,
come visit.
seriously,
Or if I can figure out how to make myself rich and famous, I'll come out and visit you.
well, the thing about it is that China, like with that kind of income, okay, I make so much some money a month. Plus, I'm giving money to pay for my rent.
Mhm.
So my rent's covered as well. So I'm netting that a month
Yeah.
without having a place over my head. That's pretty nice because this has an extra at least 500 a month for a year. What do you got there? About 6,000? Is that right? 500 year? No, that'd be for a whole year. So about $3,000, right?
Mhm.
Something like that. So it's pretty damn nice. The places I've gotten though were in shitty neighborhoods, so I can get a place for and shitty by Chinese, nothing like shitty by U.S. By
Yeah.
U.S. means you get shot and killed.
Oh yeah.
By Chinese, it means you might see somebody spit more often than you see them.
Exactly. Because I was thinking, I sort of where I lived in Anyang was definitely not great. And in Korean terms, it would be shitty. But I was like, I enjoyed living there. It was sort
Yeah,
of,
right.
yeah, it was good folks, and I just think
More
it was
people
like
live there.
it had sort of a name. It wasn't like it was crime. It was occasionally got loud on a Wednesday night when they were all drunk and
Right. It was not crime infested. It was not addled by drug addiction or
yeah.
anything weird
But it was
like that.
just not. It was basically just not the most affluent part of town.
Right. Just a little rowdier.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
more real folk. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, oh yeah, I love that though. It's like where I'm staying is when I first came here, I decided to stay way up north of that area because I know that that area where I like to eat
Mm-hmm.
is also really rowdy at night. I
Mm.
also know I'm 50 years old and I like to sleep.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I found a place that's $1 is $1 to get me to it's $1 to get me to the restaurant that I like to go to
Mm-hmm.
where I get my omelet every day. I get an omelet and one bottle of Cambodia beer. The
Mm.
bottle of Cambodia beer is $1 and the omelet is $2.50.
Mm.
And tipping is pretty much, you know how Asia is with
Yeah.
tipping. It's kind of a give or take sort of thing. But I'm still an American. I still give them, 20%. Ooh, I just gave them 70 cents, for 20%, 20% for a $3.50 bill.
Yeah.
And that's considered a really nice place.
Mm.
Well, not really nice, but
Yeah, you know.
yeah. If I had the steak and eggs,
It's
yeah,
not a
it'd be,
dump. Yeah.
$20. But I can get this omelet with toast and a little thing of orange juice, about this tall. It's not the biggest. It's not like some Denny's breakfast that you're gonna get that's huge, but for $3.50, including a beer,
Yeah.
nothing. You know? So it's possible to live here, but it's not easy
Yeah.
because most of the apartments here are really shitty.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're talking about run down, built when France was still running the country.
Yeah.
And these buildings are beautiful, don't get me wrong, but they should be torn down. They are just one floor is going to collapse on another any day now. And that's pretty much how most of poor Asia is, including the country where I'll be living again soon.
Yeah.
It's just there's so many people in that area. I can't now as I segue into COVID, this country has had really, really low COVID numbers.
Mm.
And looking into it, well, it's not densely populated like the rest of Asia is. It really isn't. It's their biggest city is the size of Milwaukee,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very spread out. It's just a big Michigan,
Yeah.
really. Without the Detroit.
Yeah.
It's like a UP, I guess. UP and I don't know, but it's they have the concentrated areas like where I'm living, where the tourists come,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also the safest area.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like if you're Barang like me, even Barang like you, because you don't look Asian at all. I hate to say, you could use it to your advantage here.
Yeah.
Um, like my friend Howard, who is here with me when we got stuck, um, Chinese American, actually born in China, so that makes him, well, whatever, he's American citizen, he's a baby. But anyway, he got away with a lot more shit because he's Asian.
Mm-hmm.
He has Asian privilege going on.
Yeah.
You check your white privilege at the door in fucking Phnom Penh, man.
Yeah.
You're getting opposited right there. You're getting opposited. It's a hard time to be a white man in Asia.
Oh, Lordy.
God, people are the worst. It's like they all blame victim mentality and all that shit, and then they just go ahead and say shit like that. And that becomes their talking point. Or at least the point, whatever point they end up being known for, which ends up being ridiculous. The thing I'm gonna hate, brother, man, is that 3-week quarantine.
No, that's gonna be that'll be annoying.
Number one, the expense. Number two, just and I did the quarantine before,
Mm-hmm.
but I was still given some leeway. I could still go downstairs and get delivery.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It would be handed to one person, then it would come over to me. It was not a big deal. I just go down to the lobby and get it. But for instance, here in Cambodia, if you're putting in one of the hotels here for quarantine, you can only eat and I'm going to have to do the same in China, you can only eat the hotel's food. You cannot have anything from the outside world. It all has to come through the hotel. And that way the hotel makes money, which really isn't the hotel's money, it ends up being the government's money.
Yeah.
which is what the state says too. They give you some incentive. Oh, we're going to give you an incentive, Hilton, for putting people up as quarantine people. We're going to give you so much tax cut. That's kind of shit happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a reality of capitalism. I'm not making any as evil or as good arguments at all. I'm just basically just stating something that's right in front of our own faces,
Mm-hmm.
which doesn't make for great television because last time I checked, when we tell people what they already know, they change the channel.
Yeah.
Either that or we're just getting some people that, well, we don't have any viewers anyway.
No.
That's gonna change when we OBS this fucker up, man. I'm telling you. 'Cause this is gonna be OBS is awesome. And what is it? Wire. That's the one I got. It's called Wire. Do I even have it on here? I may have had to unload it, but it's called Wire Telecast. It's you have the OBS.
Mm-hmm.
You've gotten that before. The one that I have is like OBS, but it's one that's paid for.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's really nice. That's the one that has the fake set on it. Like
Okay.
if we were both screen ourselves, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Your place is actually very green screenable.
Oh yeah.
You have this nice pocket of depth between you and the wall.
Mm-hmm.
I would have to say about, God, I want to say at least 5 feet.
It's about that, yes.
Yeah.
Maybe slightly. Let me see here.
It's a good separation,
Yeah,
Yeah, 'cause
it's around 5. It's around 5.
yeah. It has to, whenever it gets to the point where it has to do the autofocus,
Mm-hmm.
that's a good thing because, that way you're having some depth to your shot.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing obviously you need a fill light for your face, and then the backlight for up here, and then have the green screen perfectly lit, which only cost you about $2,000. But hey, there's actually ways of doing it with just the sun and pieces of wet newspaper to make like the lighting just perfect, so the green screen just looks super professional.
Okay.
But you can only shoot for like an hour a day.
You gotta find that 1
But,
hour.
yeah, and it's only like between the hours like 7:15 to 7:45 in the morning, whenever the sun is just at that right moment.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, green screens are fun. But I will say this: software's gotten a lot better about adjusting to the different light.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They've gotten so much better at that. So you can just basically throw green behind you, as long as it's the same color. It's not gonna freak out too much with whatever thing you put over the transparent area. That's all you're doing is making that area transparent. So it's like putting a sandwich together, but you're cutting off that part of the bread, and it shows through it. Oh yeah, I didn't send you my. Did I send you our latest video?
No, I'm not sure. What is the latest video?
Is our latest what I would call a bug. People in the industry would know this. It's called a TV bug.
Mm-hmm.
Something that you usually see at the end of a program. Like when you used to see what's his name typing, and then he'd throw the piece of paper up in the air, and
Oh, okay, yeah.
and then you see a whole bunch of other little tags at the
Yeah.
end. Those are bugs. They're
Okay.
just like these real quick, like 5 or 6 second long videos.
Okay, cool.
Let me see if I can find it here first of all, but I think I know where it is. Because I had to move everything off of my C folder over to my solid state because, well, number one, the C folder, damn, only had 200 gigs on it. You didn't by chance hear that, did you?
I did actually.
You heard the
Yeah, the sound like
that
tapping.
that is a gecko.
Oh.
That is in my apartment somewhere behind me. But I like him because he's eating all the insects.
Okay. Yep.
Get up oh man, the ants over here can be intolerable. They really can be. Let's see, local disk E, and then I believe videos, and I'm not coming across the the one that I obviously labeled porn. Let's see, download Z. because it was video and
I label mine the NSFW,
nice.
or
And that,
for just regular photos of, because just regular
nice
photos of
photo.
stuff. I call that the bank.
Nice. I usually have one called Carson's business documents,
Yeah.
but then I had a business,
Yeah.
so I just turned it to NROP.
Yeah.
Yeah, NROP.
Mhm.
I know it is, but the casual looker isn't gonna care. There we go. Video. I believe that would be it. If it's not here, I'm not gonna look for it all night because that'd be kind of annoying. But I just had to move a bunch of stuff, and I can't remember where everything is. No, I have the cars though.
Okay.
Just what I needed from on the midnight special. Yeah, the midnight special. That's an old show.
I mean, yeah.
I wonder if this is illegal. Is Rick Ocasek gonna come and murder me?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm afraid not.
What about Paulina Poroskova?
Oh yeah, she might. Yeah. But I'd be
Well,
okay with it. I'd be okay with that.
What a beauty, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a beautiful woman.
Oh, absolutely. Oof.
And great taste in music, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Look how handsome this fucker was before he got all fat. Remember when he got all fat?
Mm-hmm.
He was a good-looking dude.
Mm-hmm.
If you're ever having a bad life and having a midlife crisis, think of Rick Ocasek having his first top 10 hit when he was 40 years old.
Mm. Yeah.
Anyway, so I stopped sharing that because, I can't sit here and play. And why won't I close? I closed my thing.
I know that annoys me too because mine will do that sometimes where you'll close something, but it's still the audio still plays and you can't get the audio off
Right.
because the program itself has technically already been turned off.
The program's done. And I don't mind you hanging out. There we go. Okay, go sleep. Oh, that's great. Those albums are all awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And when I read that one day on your read-me list, the Cars was removed from this list because something or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, get
Now,
me to a site.
yeah. But I still have, now if there's ever something you want, I still have them all. It's just basically to make room on that folder, I've been pulling stuff off so I can pull, because I've been putting
Oh,
movies
right, yeah,
on there
'cause
instead.
you were already at like 85 gigabytes. What I did, I copied the folder at one point and
Mm-hmm.
moved it over, while leaving your copy there, moved it onto my drive.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened one time was that I still downloaded from the copy, but it still ended up deleting yours for some reason.
Yeah.
That's why I ended up copying it over, then copying it over again to an external drive, and that keeps it from deleting.
Okay.
So yeah, I've been able to do every Petty album that you had on there. You had a lot of Petty,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of Cars. I forget if that was you or me, but yeah, you have some good stuff on there. The Go-Go's. It's a great
Mm-hmm.
download for that. Man, love me some Go-Go's.
Oh
It's
yeah.
3:38. Oh my God, I'm gonna have a terrible day tomorrow. Dude, it's 3:30 in the morning. What am I doing up?
Yeah.
I have a chat head open. Somebody's probably watching me on Twitch going, dude, why don't you answer my call? No, thank goodness. Lena. There's this girl she's really cool. She's
Mm-hmm.
she's like 5'9", 30 years old, model-esque looking
Oh,
Paulina Poroskova wannabe.
that's a
You know
great
what I
age.
mean?
That's a great age.
She's like that perfect age for wearing diamonds and pillbox hats. That's what kind of lady she is. That's how she carries her. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
She carries herself much like a lady of the made-up era of the 50s.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Still young, but adult enough to where you might still have something in common.
Exactly. You can talk about things, and and if you don't have anything to talk about, let's play cards.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's play rummy.
We can figure it
She,
out.
yeah, she's great that way. I can't believe it's Thursday night. Oh, God.
That's the one thing I hate about the schedule I got now, where I'm off Tuesdays or Wednesdays and Thursdays, because my Monday is on a Friday, and that just makes
Yeah.
everything. It makes it so. It just feels weird, because
I
a
imagine anytime they go this Friday.
yeah, and it's like because I'm going to work, but it's Friday,
Yeah.
and it's just like it's sort of cool because there's Friday, there's weekend stuff like on TV or on the internet that's still applies, but it's
Yeah.
still the beginning of the week, and it's just like
You're right. Yeah. Speaking of your work weekend, that's what I hate about China sometimes. You get days off for holidays there,
Mhm.
but you end up making them up the following Saturday.
Yeah.
So you really don't get the day off. You
Yeah.
would just end up working 15 days in a row for some
Yeah.
reason. It's very strange how they do it. They give you the days off, but then you make them up later.
Yeah.
So
So
it's
you
like, why
still
did we stop?
there? Yeah.
It's something, but who cares? They give me a month off in summer. They give me a month off, or they give me 2 months off in summer, and a month off in winter. So
Okay.
whatever,
Yeah.
cool with it. Yeah, working in southern China has been great. I've really
Okay.
enjoyed it.
Good.
Uh, the students are smart. They're not as well. The problem is that they're very spoiled.
Mhm.
So if you're working at an international school in China, then you're getting parents that have money.
Yeah.
Their parents don't work at a factory. Their parents own the factory.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we would get some brats in there that it wouldn't matter what they do. We had a kid who had a 10,000 RMB allowance a month, which is about right now about God $7,000. No,
God.
more than that. So 6,500 RMB is $1,000 right now. So yeah, about $1,500 allowance per month. Can you imagine that? There are Americans I know that don't make that much money a month.
Yeah. I don't. That's basically. I make just under that a month.
Yeah, you made less than $1,500 a month,
Yeah.
and that's
Around.
and living in the United States,
I might
States
make.
of America.
Actually, I might make that. Because I sorry, like every 2 weeks is around 780, 800. So I'm in that ballpark. So his allowance
Yeah,
is my yeah.
yeah. You're right. You're right in that. Yeah, you're right on that cusp of uh, where we're considered poor. That's how much money I would make.
Yeah.
20 something thousand dollars a year. You are officially poor.
Yeah.
You know,
And
it's not.
the sad thing about it now is if I didn't have like overwhelming past debt, not overwhelming at this point because I'm in bankruptcy, but
Oh no,
and I'm
the
working on
dinner of Hillary
working
Clinton.
on that getting rid of that. But if I didn't have the debt, I would be perfectly content living off of that at this point. Just
Right?
especially in my present situation, because like just as long as at this point, all I want now is as long as I got a roof on my head, I can eat, have internet, and
Yep.
and then occasionally do something fun. And I'm not even
Right.
talking about a vacation, but just occasion
No.
like once 2 weeks,
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
something fun or buy
Let's go
myself
to
something
Long
fun.
John Silver's, have some fish and some beer.
Yeah, if I can
That's
do
what
something fun once every 2 weeks or spend a little money occasionally on something enjoyable, I'm okay with that.
Right. Right. Exactly. You go out, go to a ball game, spend
Yeah,
$50.
exactly.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically on my. So I don't even have an entertain. I used to have an entertainment thing. My Excel it just it got crossed off because
Yeah.
I don't even factor it in anymore. Um, because the only places I really go are that place I go for breakfast with a
Mhm.
really cheap beer and a place called Red Fox which helps me with cigarettes.
Mm.
If you know what I mean. Yeah, cigarettes.
Yes.
Yeah, those kind. Oh yes, oh yes.
And that's just, and I still think about the fact that when I was doing the last time I was in Korea, I was in like The last step was 2 years at, and it took me a whole year before I even realized, because I occasionally smoke cigars. And I was there like it was. I was in my second year before I even realized you could get Cuban cigars in like South Korea. And I was like, what the fuck? I've wasted a whole year before, because I just not buying cigars here because I can get Cubans. And I was like, holy shit, what the fuck am I doing? And I was the same way before because I was like, it was like a full, like my first time I worked in Korea, it was like 9 months in before I realized I could download stuff, uh, without having to worry about it.
Right. Right.
You know.
Yeah, because there's like everything is. I mean, yeah, we look at Korea. We saw how many just horrible copyright laws were being violated all the time, like right in front of our faces.
Yeah, exactly.
Buildings and everything. And it's like,
It's like the Wild West of internet intellectual property out there.
yeah, yeah. Oh, he downloaded DVD on Blu-ray. No, this is a DVD. Oh yeah, forget it. You know, I don't know. It's hilarious. Yeah, what's that? Something I was watching. Crap. I just lost 2 years of my life anyway. So
Yeah.
that's yeah. There's it goes on right now. They're hard. They're so fast. These little geckos. But they're scary. They scare the hell out of you though, because they're big. They're
Uh-huh.
see one of those crawl across in a silhouette really fast. Your brain doesn't have time to adjust and say that's not a big centipede.
Yeah.
Or what do they call them? They're similar to centipedes, but the things that you find in the bathroom all the time.
All those silverfish doohickey things or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Kill them. I hate the things. And supposedly they're good. They're great against other insects, but
Yeah.
I don't care. My first instinct is to kill those things.
Yeah. I'm the same way. It's like not as much on the geckos or lizards simply because they're more like a bug. I can squish a bug no problem.
Right. I killed a lizard once and there was blood.
That because, but yeah, lizards are more
Human.
animal. Yeah, human animal esque in that they're more. They actually sort of they're not just yeah. Yeah, so it's just like squishy and just real.
That's something that we can understand in a existential way. If they have a breathing apparatus and it's a digestive system, their blood is red, and
because I'll always at least try to. I won't kill it, but I'll have to like catch it to get it. Just not be here with me. I need to put you somewhere else.
I want to kill you, but you must eat it now.
You got to be somewhere else. You can't be here.
Exactly. One second. Got another drink?
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna grab one too. While we're talking. Hang on, just a second. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna grab one too. While we're talking. Hang on, just a second.
show.
Yep.
Sorry, Mr. William Holden, winner of the 1942 Academy Award for winner of lead supporting actor. Oh, okay, I have no idea. I don't even know if you're Bill Holden or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've run him up to you a couple times because yeah, that's basically the same man. I'm looking for a Bic
Hmm.
because I'm a beer opener.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, here we go. Keys to my scooter in China from a year ago.
Hmm.
Imagine, to my dismay, I get back and my keys are bent, but my scooter is there.
Yeah.
Man, these are tight.
Yeah.
I really need a butter knife. This is what we call leverage.
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Oh, why didn't I think of that earlier? Piece of hell out of a big, lighter. Big old soup. I find it really strange that now you're hearing me all right, right? Are you still?
It's a little. I can hear you. It's a little distant because you're not got the mic, but I can hear you. I can hear you. It's a little distant because you're not got the mic, but I can hear you.
Change that. I'm gonna change that up real quick.
Okay.
You're gonna be impressed by how cool this sounds. Okay, that's interesting. A little bit, and I gotta get peace online. I gotta give peace a chance.
Absolutely.
Not my plagiarism checker. My students don't like it. Not that I don't have to use it anyway, because they're drawing stuff straight from Wikipedia. Little shits. I think I'm an idiot. I mean, the gall to like leave the annotation stuff up from their copy paste.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? Oh my goodness. Microphone, USB, PNP sound device. Bring that up to about 13. How's that sound?
Ask me your question.
It's still on the same mic though.
Hmm.
Did that change at all?
Do.
Hello, 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 hello.
It's still. I think you're still on the what you call it, the other one.
This one here?
Yeah, that one there. I think you're still on the
I'm pulling
what
it.
you call it, the other one. Yeah, that one there. Can't hear nothing now. Can't hear nothing now. Who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? I can't hear you. Who are you talking to? I can't hear you. Oh, I think I get you now.
Really?
Okay, I can hear you now.
You can hear me now?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Then you're hearing me through this.
I
You
hear
have to
you,
be.
but I hear you through that too.
This is unplugged.
Yeah, but I hear you through the main one.
Oh, cool. This bad boy?
Yes, yes.
The
Ooh,
snowball.
there you go.
I like it. You just have to get because it's one of those typical USB ones that doesn't have any software drivers for
Mm-hmm.
it. You have to get and you can get it as freeware from like SoundForge. Um, it's basically an APO,
Mm.
and you have to boost uh, the audio on it by like 14 dB,
Mm.
which is really high, because otherwise you come across very, very low. Now,
Mm.
am I coming across super low still?
No, you're normal, sounding normal.
I'm not. Okay, good. I think I'm at, yeah, I have it at speech. Yep, I have it this. Okay, all good. On voice, yeah. And if I talk like this, it probably gets really loud,
Mm,
annoying.
not excessively, no.
Yeah, oh, clipping's out, yeah. Your speakers are probably set to turn off clipping, so when it gets, too high.
Mm.
Anyway, this way I can now stand about the room. No, that's one thing I like about this mic. You can have the far field pickup on it. It's a nice Omni mic,
Mm-hmm.
but it does pick up, traffic outside is terrible.
Mm.
If you ever want to do any VO stuff, uh, which could be fun if you're messing around with, Audacity or something like that and changing your
Mm-hmm.
voice and making goofy videos and, living in Cambodia and having nothing else to do. That's pretty much how it's turned out. I can't believe it. Oh my god, dude, it's almost 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So much to do. We gotta cut this. We
Okay.
really do.
Alrighty. Yeah, you need to get sleeping.
I mean,
Yeah.
I did just open a beer, and I do plan on finishing it.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Because we have been chatting already now 2 hours and 12 minutes in Twitch time.
and that's like in dog years, right? So that means we've been talking for 14 years.
Yeah. For me,
Damn.
that'd be like a not even just a show, but like a complete stream for me. Because I'd be just like when I usually stream, I only stream usually for an hour because I'm just playing video games, and then I'm like, no one's like
Yeah.
actually watching. So it's like, why am I
Well, your original podcast that you
mm-hmm.
did right when you got home from Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one I think I'm still a fan of on Facebook.
Yeah.
Still there?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, you had a couple good shows. I like the staycation one.
Yeah.
No, Merscation.
Yeah. The Mercation. Yeah.
Merscation. You opened up with the
The,
Go-Go's.
yeah, because that one worked out. That one just sort of wrote itself. That.
It really did.
Yeah.
It was almost a preamble.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you think this is bad? Because I mean, MERS didn't affect anybody in the states.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, yeah.
I mean, it was strictly a South Korea thing, and it all started with one dude.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they nipped it in the bud, but it was this very serious, like any of those upper respiratory infections.
Yeah.
They're crazy, like dangerous if you have bad breathing to begin with.
Yeah.
So, knock on formaldehyde. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, bro. I'll let you go.
Okay, ma'am.
Enjoy your afternoon. I'm gonna be up for another hour or two. I know it. I'll write you if I think of anything witty.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, man.
Hey, man. You have a good evening and get as much sleep as you can.
You mean a good morning? I
Yeah.
will.
Good morning. Exactly.
Well,
Before
about
the
3 hours.
yeah
In
before
3
the
hours,
yeah before the city catches up to you and wakes you up anyway.
Yeah, I'm in trouble now. All right, bro.
Yeah, man. Have
Peace.
have a good night.
You too, sir. Good night.
And that was uh me and my buddy Carson just yammering away for about 2 hours. Yammering away. Okay, we can do this. Okay, this was just a test stream, just to see how it would go, or just basically just some random content. But hey, I streamed for 2 hours today on an afternoon. How about that? No one watched, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Using a different camera. Oh, let's see if we can go to, because the other camera was being used by the messenger. There we go. Yep. Okay, cool. Alrighty. I might stream later tonight because I don't think at this point. I mean, I go to work tomorrow. Oh God! Hope my boss does not know who I am, and hope my boss isn't watching this. But technically, legally, I can not go to work tomorrow because I will do it by the book and call in and make it official. And technically, I can, but we'll see. All right, y'all have a good day. I'll see y'all when I see you. Bye bye.